Yo, what's up guys? So today we're going to be showcasing off a really awesome Synchro deck. We're going to be throwing out multiple copies of boss monsters, and of course with that new ban list, I myself was like super disappointed that Librarian got put down to 1, which actually affects all of the Synchro decks quite heavily because that card is just super OP when you can have multiple copies. This is also not only using the new ban list, but we're also using that new master rule where you don't have to have Synchros linked up, as you guys can see over here. You don't need the link at all to go ahead and make, of course, your Librarian. Now, there's only one Librarian now, but there still is a lot of really great cards like Satellite Warrior that aren't actually part of the TG archetype, and if you want to make this a Quasar deck, by all means go ahead and do so. But the better card in this variant is going to be the Stardust Sifir Divine Dragon, because it basically gets rid of 2 cards. Because 1, you get to negate the effect, and then you get to pop a completely different card if you want to. It's just destroy 1 card on the field. Then plus with the Satellite Warrior, what you're able to go ahead and do is, well, this card is insane too. It really makes Librarian even better. But Satellite Warrior has this ability where every time that you go ahead and make this card, you get to pop cards your opponent controls up to the amount of Synchro monsters in your graveyard. And it's really easy to get this up to massive amounts of pops, plus it gains 1,000 attack for each card that you do destroy with that effect. So even though it is like a TG variant, you can still make other things, and obviously you will be making other things because the TG Synchros, well, their boss monster, like their Quasar, if you will, at the time, this was like one of like their super boss monsters. It's just not as good as making other cards like Satellite Warrior. You're able to pop again. With this instance, we only just popped 2 cards. We're getting an extra 2,000 attack, and then on top of that, you're able to go ahead and get rid of your opponent's cards. And it doesn't have to be monsters with the like different names. A lot of cards will have that effect. But let's go and check it out up against a lot of other stuff over here. You guys just saw the Sacred Beast over here, very popular archetype. Now that, of course, they got some new support, and the deck is not that bad. We're gonna go ahead and show it off up against Noble Knights. But the key concept over here is basically just go ahead and make a soul. That's a very easy concept for a lot of you guys. Then you go ahead and summon your TG Striker. Then you go ahead and go right into Trident Launcher. That's going to give you triple monsters. Now, I do want to mention something that is very important. Trident Launcher will lock you into TGs for the rest of the turn, but that's okay because you're going to be synchroing up during your opponent's turn, which will give you the ability to go ahead and obviously pop their cards. So we're going to go ahead and get some free extra special summons, and it almost looks like the deck wasn't really even nerfed that bad because I did cover TG Synchros, and they were insane with triple Librarian. But now with only 1, the deck is still pretty good. I don't think that deck got hit that hard at all, to the point where it's unplayable. Plus, with triple copies of Pot of Avarice, TGs benefit off of that heavily. With just Trident Launcher alone, you're getting 3 different TG monsters. Granted, 1 is from the graveyard, so it's not going to be an extra one. But literally just with Trident Launcher, you're already getting 3 additional monsters plus itself. That's already 4 cards for your Pot of Avarice, which is going to be obviously very, very consistent in the deck. Now that it's at triple, you're going to have a lot more access to being able to reset your combos. Plus, Pot of Avarice is just a fantastic card. Plus, in this instance, look at that. We had 3 copies of the Golden Bamboo Sword activated. So we had drawn 6 cards. Plus, we have the Pot of Avarice. I mean, it's not even over. Look at how much advantage you can generate. And I know it's against Noble Knights, or the Flame Noble Knights, which technically they did get some newer support. Not that it matters, because I don't think it's really what that deck needed to become like an S tier deck. Whereas the TG deck, I would definitely say that this deck can compete with some of the more meta decks in the game compared to, let's say, like Flame Noble Knights. It honestly comes down to just opening up good and also not getting every play negated, which, I mean, I'll be honest, if you get Appaloosa, it might be very difficult to kind of come back with this deck if you don't have like Dark Ruler No More or Nibiru or whatever the case may be. But you can see, like, look how many extra cards we still had in the hand over here. Plus, of course, we've got the boss Satellite Warrior with 4,500 attack, which is quite great. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and show off another 2 duels over here. This one's up against another Sacred Beast player. Although this guy, I mean, I don't know what he was doing with the only 20 cards in the deck. Plus, this guy should be on Dueling Book, because Ordeal of the Traveler is excellent on Dueling Book, but not so much over on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, because it will like actually force you to go for the right target. There was an older ruling on Ordeal of the Traveler. Well, I should say newer older, because the newest ruling, I believe that you do have to reveal that card to your opponent. But there was a short period where apparently how it was ruled at certain YCSs and larger tournaments was that you could just tell your opponent, no, it's not that card, I don't have it. It's like whatever, like player knowledge or something, public knowledge of certain cards. It was a ruling at one point, at certain places, but nonetheless, I don't think that it is as good as it used to be. Nonetheless, we're here to talk about the Synchro deck. So obviously, we're going to go ahead and make Librarian. We're going to go ahead and summon the Sifir Divine Dragon, plus Librarian's going to go ahead and let us draw another card. And then Synchro Chase is really good. Your opponent can't activate cards or effects in the response to activations of your Synchro monsters with Warrior or Synchron or Stardust in the original name. So you can't even stop some of these plays. Plus, on top of that, you can target one monster graveyard that was used as Synchro material and then special summon. So you get to bring back Librarian after you already use it for your Synchro material. So that's basically how we're able to go ahead and use it as Synchro material to go ahead and summon, of course. You can make, again, Quasar, but this card's just better. Again, I've mentioned it several times and in every Synchro video. I still feel like Quasar is the ultimate Synchro monster, but it's still not good enough, you know, in 2020 here. But look at that. Satellite War with 5,800 attack and obviously being able to pop, you know, multiple cards. Popping 3 or 4 cards is very easy with Satellite Warrior because, again, you're going to have multiple Synchro monsters in the graveyard. It gets a boost, plus you're just going to be able to pop more cards over here. And here we have it up against Infinite Track. Obviously, the whole Union buff over there with, of course, their Link monster is making the deck a little bit more popular now here in the TCG, but nonetheless, it's more so for the Infinite Negate combo. But you know, if they don't go first, then we just negate them, right? That's how Yu-Gi-Oh is played. So anyways, once again, simple bread and butter combo. Go for the Trident Launcher, and then go ahead and start spamming the board with a bunch of Synchro monsters, specifically Star Guardian, Librarian. Star Guardian is just so excellent. If this card is special summoning, you can target a TG monster, add it back to your hand, and then for the main during your main phase, you get to special summon another TG monster using whatever you're using for material. Just bring it back, and then we've got Synchro Chase over here, so you're going to be able to bring back one of the cards. And at this point, once again, if you want to make Quasar, you can go ahead and make Quasar. Obviously, with this effect over here, with Star Guardian, once per chain during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can, well, shoot, the card went away too fast. Alright, it's coming back, because remember, a lot of the stuff gets recycled in this deck, but anyways, quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, you get to Synchro Summon using this card as material. You can, immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro Summon using this card you control. And you can only use each effect about once per turn, but not that it matters, because again, you're just going to go ahead and Synchro, make whatever boss monster that you decide to go ahead and play in your extra deck, and then, like, look at this. It looks really good to the point, again, I didn't even feel like watching this gameplay, I would have assumed that this deck was at like pretty much full power. Again, Librarian made it way insane, but what makes it even crazier, again, this is the new Banlist. The new Banlist has Triple Pot of Avarice, which makes this deck so much better, although we do lose out on the Triple Librarian, which honestly was probably better, but it's still a very good deck, and I know a lot of you guys were really excited about the new Master Rule coming out into the game and making Synchros a lot better, and it definitely does make them a lot better, and with Pot of Avarice, it helps out a lot of different decks. And if you guys want to make this a more competitive deck, I will probably suggest you guys to go ahead and throw in cards like Ash Blossom, because you can actually recycle off of your Avarice, so they're a lot more live. Nibiru is also an excellent card because this deck wouldn't really be able to deal with a turn 1 board on its own, like with the exception of just opening up absolutely amazing and your opponent just negates like the wrong thing. But for the most part, I think you need like Dark Ruler No More and Nibiru to really deal with an opponent that happens to be going first. But this deck, if you go first, yeah, you're probably going to be setting up for a pretty decent board with, again, like maybe triple, maybe quadruple pops with Satellite Warrior, and then you basically can disrupt 2 different cards. One's popping and one's negating it. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile, and shout out to my boy Stardust Yugioh for hooking me up with the gameplay with the new Banlist Synchro deck here for TG. So 3 copies of Serpent, 3 copies of Neo Space Connector, 3 copies of Werewolf, 3 copies of Junk Forward, 1 copy of Aqua Dolphin, 1 copy of Striker, 2 copies of Zombie, 2 copies of Booster Rapper. A lot of these are, well, if you want to, you can actually run 1-for-1 in the deck as well. I have seen that in a lot of different variants. But it's just for, a lot of times it's just for the extra different names here. And then we have 2 copies of Drillfish, 1 copy of Tank Larva, 1 copy of the Reinforcement of the Army, 2 copies of Where Art Thou for all your targets, and then we have 3 copies of Avarice. This really helps out the deck quite a bit. And then we've got Upstart Goblin over here. I honestly feel like, because, well, where's the new Master Rule? You could probably just drop this card if you wanted to. Because there's really, as far as I'm aware of, there really isn't too much synergy with the Upstart. But I guess for disrespect, you can go ahead and throw it in there. But again, these 2 cards, I would say, well, this card you won't need to play it in a week anyways, because they're all using the new April 1st list. But nonetheless, again, 3 Avarice, 3 copies of Golden Bamboo Sword, 1 copy of Reborn, 2 copies of Inheritor or Succession, and then 3 copies of Synchro Chase. Excellent card. Again, once you use your Librarian for your Synchro, just bring it right back, and then you can still combo off. And then 2 copies of DDR, 1 copy of Phoenix Blade, 1 copy of Broken Bamboo Sword, 3 copies of the Cursed Bamboo Sword. For the extra deck, you can throw Quasar in here if you want to instead of Sifir Divine, but again, Sifir is probably your better option. And then we got 2 copies of Blade Blaster here, 2 copies of Satellite Warrior, 1 copy of Librarian, 2 copies of Power Gladiator, 3 copies of Star Guardian, 1 copy of Reciprocal Dragonfly, 2 copies of Trident Launcher, and 1 copy of Isolde. But I'm guessing, again, the upstart was there because like, he probably took apart like another deck, and I was probably just in there. Sometimes I do that too. Like I use another deck for a deck profile, and I forget to take out certain cards. But someone can comment down below if there's actually some like better synergy with this that I'm unaware of. But I'm thinking that you can completely drop it. But anyways, thanks for tuning, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell so you don't miss out when we cover other synchro decks. Well, we might cover some other ones, but I think this one's just really cool. But when we cover the rest of the newer Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist decks that are meta or non-meta, because I will cover some more meta stuff. I saw in the comments, don't worry, I'll cover some more meta stuff. But sometimes when I cover meta, you guys are like, oh, I'm boring meta stuff. And then when I do an anti-meta or like, you know, more rogue decks, you're like, this deck wouldn't do anything even out of locals. But, you know, I like to cover both content on my channel. So if you want to see that, subscribe, turn that bell if you're new here, and you'll definitely see more. If you guys want to send me other replays of other cool new banlist ready decks, feel free to send them to AzneyesReplays@gmail.com, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one, and I'm signing out. Peace.